Canelo Alvarez is making headlines for his in-ring exploits as well as his conflicts inside the boxing community as he promotes his next fight. His Excellency Turkey Alec recently disclosed that he made a bout proposal to Canelo's group. Canelo declared that he would be open to taking on the challenge, and that, with the appropriate financial conditions,
out there if the Canelo fight just can't happen.
To be honest, that was my motivation fight. You know, it's crazy and it makes me laugh with all the antics that Canelo is doing and saying in the media and whatnot.
It would be a simple victory. Canelo responded indifferently, saying he wasn't seeking the confrontation. But His Excellency later declared that he no longer had interest in pursuing the event. The situation worsened when Alec took to social media, criticizing Canelo for allegedly pursuing only simple, spectacle-driven fights. Terence Crawford entered the fight as tensions were rising, calling Canelo's $150 million price tag to face him merely a pretext. In response to Canelo's hesitation, Crawford stated, "If it's all about business, then you're doing good business. If I'm easy work, you take all that money being offered, but you won't." Crawford was questioned about his main motivation if the planned fight with Canelo doesn't happen on Sean Porter's.
If it's all about business, then you doing good business. If I'm easy work, I heard him say I'm easy work. If I was easy work, well, you would take all that money that he's offering you. But yet,
The Porter Way podcast. Crawford stated unequivocally that his motivation is to defeat Canelo, although he finds the fighter's comments regarding the fight funny. Crawford pointed out that Canelo had previously faced smaller opponents at catchweights, such as Floyd Mayweather and Amir Khan. Canelo's been fighting smaller guys his whole career, making his own catchweights for years. Crawford said, Canelo was criticized by Crawford for his excuses, claiming that if the fight had been simple, he would have accepted the.
He won't get no credit and all this type of things, but Canelo been fighting smaller guys his whole career. Canelo been making his own catchweight
offer from His Excellency and made millions with little effort. Crawford declared, "I'm a threat to his legacy," stressing that Canelo's unwillingness to challenge him only served to confirm this notion. Despite Crawford's remarkable record, which includes defeating Israel Madov to become a 4-division champion, some people are dubious about his capacity to repeat his performance against Canelo at 168 pounds. Boxing trainer and cutman Bob Santos commented, "I think it'll be a step too big for him, but he's earned the right to try." Given the current situation, a showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford seems unlikely, particularly after Canelo's clash with the very person
catchweight for years. You know, Canelo fought a smaller Mayweather. Canelo fought a smaller Amir Khan.
Yeah, he did at 155. Yeah,
Amir Khan. You know, he fought Jamel Charlo, and I'm pretty sure he didn't make as much money with all those guys except Mayweather, even Berlanga right now, that he will with me. But yet and still, you know, he have all these excuses why he don't.
Who was trying to make the fight happen. With the bout currently on hold, Crawford still has a plethora of opportunities if he sticks to fighting at 154 Olds. Recently crowned the WBA Super Welterweight World Champion, Crawford expressed interest in potential matchups against Sebastian Fundora, Virgil Ortiz Jr., or Jermell Charlo. Crawford stated his preference for fighting Fundora if a bout with Errol Spence doesn't materialize, as Fundora holds the WBO and WBC Unified Super Welterweight titles. A matchup with Fundora would give Crawford the chance to secure the bulk of titles at 154 Olds and potentially make history as the first boxer in the 4-belt era to claim undisputed champion status across 3 separate weight classes. Crawford didn't hold back when discussing Canelo's reluctance to fight him. He accused Canelo of making excuses, reiterating that Canelo's excessive demands for cash
definitely concerns me. Taking a punch from a bigger puncher like that, especially Canelo, who will land, you know, it has you second guessing yourself because all it takes is one. However, someone as serious as Crawford, someone that is dedicated, someone with the skill set he has, the mentality that he brings in the ring, and the tenacity, Bro, I give him a damn good chance of upsetting the apple cart because he won't be the favorite in the fight. Canelo
Prove that Crawford is a threat to his legacy. It would be crazy for a guy that started at 135 lbs to come all the way up to 168 lbs, your weight, no catch weight, and dethrone you, Crawford stated. Terence Crawford recently called out British promoter Eddie Hearn for being disrespectful, saying, "I thought it was disrespectful for Eddie Hearn to lie and say that Canelo Alvarez would be fighting for Crawford. The boxing world is waiting to see if Crawford will face Fundora, Spence, or another elite opponent, so it's understandable that he's frustrated with the current situation." With a reputation for drawing crowds and an impressive collection of records,
it was a little bit more challenging. However, Crawford, to me, dominated because he did what he wanted to do. And we didn't get the same fight that I was expecting. I was expecting Madrimov to be more aggressive. He's the bigger, stronger guy, the bully. But he was tamed because he had to.
Crawford has every reason to be frustrated. Canelo's name wasn't used to advertise anything, claiming to have effectively disregarded any questions regarding Alvarez. Crawford continued, "So for him to say we had to use his name to sell the fight is just disrespectful." Canelo Alvarez, now 34, is focused on his upcoming bout with Edgar Berlanga, a commitment that has complicated negotiations with Crawford. He's just trying to stay friends with him, but it's disrespectful to me.
I knew that he was in there with a tough guy that didn't fight the way he usually fights, and Crawford had to figure it out.
Even yet, the Mexican champion declared the bout to be easy work for him and aggressively requested nearly $150 million to make it happen. Crawford, predictably, didn't hesitate to poke fun at Alvarez. Crawford brought up Alvarez's contradictory stance during the same podcast. Canelo claimed the fight was easy, but Crawford demanded hundreds of millions of dollars in compensation. Crawford had previously suggested that defeating Alvarez at 168 pounds would have been a significant accomplishment, possibly endangering Alvarez's legacy. However, upon reviewing the fight again, it's clear that Crawford didn't throw any combinations during the 11th round, only single punches. While Bradley's recollection might be fading with time, the evidence shows that Crawford focused solely on individual strikes in that round. In the 12th round, Crawford attempted to unleash a series of combinations, but his efforts came at cost, as Madoff landed several devastating counters. Scoring the round proved challenging, since Crawford managed to connect with more punches. Yet the power behind Madoff's strikes was considerably more formidable. There was no contest. Crawford's decision to evade Madoff in the final 5 seconds, opting to retreat rather than engage directly, likely cost him the round. Crawford's hasty retreat in the final round didn't reflect well on him. While Bradley might put a positive spin on Crawford's actions, it was clear that Crawford's flight after taking several heavy hits from Madoff wasn't a good look. Crawford would have lost the 12th round if he had been up against Canelo. While the buzz around Terence Crawford potentially stepping up to face Canelo Alvarez has captured much of the spotlight, former world champion Danny Garcia suggests there's a matchup that might be a more fitting challenge for Bud. Speaking with reporters earlier in the week, Garcia stated that Crawford versus Jaron Ennis simply makes more sense. I mean, that's the fight the fans really want to see. Given that they are the same size, it makes more sense. That fight would be amazing to watch. Philadelphia-born Boots is a young, competitive fighter with a lot to show. All he wants to do is fight the best. He doesn't give a damn about who or where it is. I would absolutely want to witness that fight. In addition, Garcia is giving fellow Philadelphia fighter Ennis the chance to take against the well-known pound-for-pound champion, Crawford. Ennis has the tools and skills to beat anybody. He's hungry, worked hard, and is a gym rat who loves boxing. I've seen him grow up, and he's definitely going to be ready when the time comes. Meanwhile, Ryan Garcia has resumed his online criticism of others, now that he's back on social media, starting a fresh round of verbal sparring with Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford, and even himself. Crawford recently discussed his feelings towards Ryan Garcia on Logan Paul's podcast. Prior to the fight, Ryan Garcia pulled no punches in his critique of Crawford. While he admitted Crawford's undeniable skill, Garcia insisted that Crawford falls short when compared to himself or Canelo Alvarez. He recognized Crawford's athletic prowess, but maintained that the Nebraskan title holder has yet to reach the same echelon as himself or Canelo. Garcia stated, "You are a great, dedicated athlete, but you can't compare to myself or Canelo." Floyd Mayweather, a 50-0 fighting great, discussed the issue with Fight Hype and suggested that Crawford and David Benavidez square off. "I think Crawford is a super skillful fighter, very talented. I thought about this. If he wants to go to 168 and fight Canelo, and Benavidez wants to fight Canelo, and they can't get Canelo, then they should fight each other. It's an intriguing idea, but it seems highly improbable." Bud has previously stated that he aims to add Canelo's name to his record, not just any larger opponent. Additionally, Benavidez has recently chosen to compete in the light heavyweight division for the foreseeable future after being unable to lure Canelo into a bout. Promoter Oscar De La Hoya recently revealed that Terence Crawford's impressive performance against Ismail Madoff has shifted his perspective on Crawford's chances against unified super middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez. De La Hoya initially believed that Crawford's superior skill would outmatch Canelo in their anticipated clash, even at 168 Ulbs. However, after witnessing Crawford's struggles against WBA junior middleweight champion Madoff, he now thinks Alvarez would triumph due to his size and talent. Crawford faced numerous challenges in that bout, returning from a year-long hiatus, moving up in weight and age, and rarely, if ever, facing high-caliber opponents in his career. It was a case of smoke and mirrors with Crawford, and Madoff was the one who revealed it, De La Hoya stated.